Hi all, today we are going to discuss about capacitor filter to smoothen the output voltage of the converter. So we have seen the output voltage for the case of rectifier contains both the AC and DC component. Let us take for example, I am taking the bridge rectifier, which is most commonly used rectifier for the case of single phase supply. So your output voltage will resemble this rotted lines. So here where the Vs is represented, this is my supply voltage, or this is nothing but the voltage that is applied across the terminals A and B, and the voltage with respect to B with respect to A will be opposite to the supply voltage. This is VBA. So for the positive half cycle of your supply, we know that the diode D1 and D2 are forward biased and they will conduct. So your output voltage will come as this dotted line. And during the negative half cycle, so diode D1, D2 are reverse biased, D3, D4 are forward biased. Because B is positive, so automatically the anode of D3 is forward biased. Similarly, A is negative means this is reverse biased. This because cathode of D4 is negative, so D4 will be forward biased. So output will conduct through the D3 and D4, or we can tell the output voltage will be equal to VBA. That means this VBA will come at your output. So your output voltage will resemble these dots. You can see this is not DC. So if I want to convert this to nearly equal to the DC or remove the ripple component, because this is having both the DC component plus AC component, we have already seen the Fourier analysis. There we have seen that it is having the DC component also. So I want to remove the AC component from this, or AC component is also called as the ripples. So filters are used for this purpose. So today we are going to see about the capacitor filter. So one capacitor is connected across your load like this. Let us see what is going to happen. So whenever this supply is connected to your load, what will happen? Along with the load current, the current is taken by the capacitor also. So the capacitor will charge to the supply voltage. Agree with me? So let us assume initially the capacitor is having a voltage of A across its terminals. So this is my capacitor voltage is A, and because the capacitor voltage is A, so at this point the voltage will be equal to VA. This I can represent by VA. So at this point the voltage will be equal to VA. So now the diode D1 will be forward biased, D1 and D2 will be forward biased only if your supply voltage is, or your anode of this diode D1 is greater than the cathode potential. That means only if your supply voltage is greater than the capacitor voltage, then only these diodes will conduct. So that's why as the capacitor voltage is more, none of the diodes will connect, or we can tell that all the diodes are reverse biased. So your output voltage is only equal to the capacitor voltage. So now as the voltage across the capacitor, this is connected to your load, the capacitor will start discharging through your load. Let us assume because of the discharging, the capacitor voltage is dropping gradually. It has a drop to a value of B. So at this point B, you can see your supply voltage is equal to the value of the capacitor voltage. So at this point, let us assume at an angle of theta, this capacitor voltage is equal to the supply voltage. So after this, as the supply voltage is greater than the capacitor voltage, so automatically the diode is forward biased. So your output voltage will follow your supply voltage. Okay. So up to the V maximum, this output voltage will follow your supply voltage. Let us assume the capacitor is charged, because this voltage is applied across the capacitor also. So as the supply voltage is greater than the capacitor voltage, so IC will start passing and the capacitor will start charging. So let us assume the capacitor is fully charged until it reaches the maximum voltage. So once it reaches the maximum voltage, now what happens? Again the supply voltage, because this is my capacitor voltage, supply voltage is falling down, capacitor voltage is more. As the capacitor voltage is more than the supply voltage, again the diodes D1 and D2 will get reverse biased, because the value at this point voltage is greater than the voltage at point A. So the diodes are reverse biased. So your output voltage will be now equal to your capacitor voltage only. So as a result of this, what happens? Your input is isolated. Now capacitor will start discharging through your load. That means capacitor will supply the required current in your load. So gradually it will decay. Let us assume it has reached this point at this point. So again, whenever your supply voltage is greater than the capacitor voltage, again it will start conducting. Again it will reach peak and it will reach this value. So in this manner, the voltage will fall down. Getting it? So this voltage I am representing by the value V2. It has reached the value V2. So this value will be the maximum value. So this is my maximum value. So it will change from the value V maximum to V2, and initially let us assume this value I am representing by V1. So now proceeding further, you can say your output voltage is varying like this. So previously it is varying like a sine wave, but now your output voltage is varying like this. So this output voltage I can represent it as a DC component plus a AC component. So if you practically see, this value or this waveform will be very nearly equal to the triangular wave. So if you are taking this ripple voltage, how it is varying, that voltage can be resembled like this. This voltage will resemble like this. Let us assume the difference between the maximum value of the voltage and the voltage V2. So that I am representing by VRPP. So VRPT, that is voltage of the ripple voltage peak to peak. That means maximum value to the minimum value. Okay, so now the average value, if you want to calculate, average value will be in between this one because it is a triangular wave. So we can take that average value or the center point I can take as a reference. So with respect to the reference, the peak value I am representing by VRP, which will be equal to VRPP divided by 2. So this is the ripple voltage or the final ripple voltage. That means final output voltage minus DC components, or that gives the ripple voltage like this. So now coming to the output current. So we know the value of the output current will be equal to V naught divided by resistance. Whatever is the voltage at that instant, that divided by resistance, that gives your output voltage. So that's why I naught, you can see here at the instant A, output voltage I naught will be equal to, if you want to calculate the voltage at this point, so this will be equal to V1 divided by resistance. Agree with me? So gradually it will goes on decaying. Let us assume at this point it is V2. So V2 divided by R. So at this point it is V maximum. So this will be equal to V maximum divided by R. So in this manner the current will goes on varying. So now coming to the capacitor. So if you take the capacitor, you can see from the instant B, from the location B, or at an angle of theta, the output is equal to your supply voltage and the capacitor will start charging, and capacitor will charge to the full voltage until it reaches the maximum value. So same thing I have represented here, and I am going to prove the derive for this one. So the capacitor, initially capacitor current will be more, it will draw more current. As the capacitor is charging, so automatically the difference in the voltage between capacitor voltage and supply voltage is less. The current goes on decaying. By the time it reaches the maximum value, the capacitor current reaches 0. So after that what happens? Your supply is disconnected and your load will take the required load current from the capacitor. So at that instant, the capacitor will supply the required current, that capacitor, that current that is supplied. So this current is nothing but equal to the value I naught at that instant. So I naught will pass again. So it will go on decaying gradually because the voltage will goes on decreasing. So automatically current supplied by the capacitor will goes on decreasing. So again at this instant, again it is connected to the supply, again it will start charging. So let us see one by one. So I am discussing that here I naught is equal to V naught divided by R, and from omega t greater than or equal to theta 1, so the value of VAB is greater than VC. So the diode start conducting and V naught will be equal to VAB up to omega t is equal to pi by 2. And from pi by 2 onwards, as the capacitor current is greater than the supply current, so automatically capacitor only will supply to the load. So the same thing I have represented here from pi by 2 to pi plus theta 1. Again this is pi, after pi plus theta 1, again your supply voltage is greater than the capacitor current, right? So up to pi plus theta 1, the value of Vs is less than Vc, therefore the diodes are reverse biased and the output voltage will be equal to Vc. So the capacitor charges from theta to pi by 2, the capacitor is charging from theta to pi by 2 and discharges from pi by 2 to pi plus theta 1. For this much duration it is discharging. So let us try to write the equations for the capacitor current. So then we will come back to this diagram once again. So when the capacitor is charging, we can represent it like this because your output as well as the capacitor is connected to your supply. So your supply voltage is connected to your capacitor through the diodes D1 and D2, both are forward biased, that is connected to your capacitor as well as to the load. Because my concern is only about the capacitor, so that's why I have represented only capacitor here. Let us assume the current passing through this capacitor I am representing by IC. The value of IC depends on the difference in the voltage between your supply voltage and the capacitor voltage. So let us represent your supply voltage. I am taking plus minus. So I can write my equation for IC is equal to C into dVs by dt, because it depends on what is the variation of the supply voltage, because dVs by dt. So this will be equal to C into d by dt of, because it is connected to supply, it is charging, so d by dt of V maximum sin omega t. So if you do the differentiation, this will become C into V maximum into d by dt of sin omega t is cos omega t multiplied by omega, that omega I have taken here. So now what will be the value of the IC? At omega t is equal to theta, the value of IC, because it will start charging, so IC will be equal to omega c V maximum into cos theta. Omega c V maximum into cos theta. So same thing I have represented here. So at this instant, this value, this magnitude at this instant will be equal to omega c V maximum into cos theta, and it is following a cosine wave. That's why I have represented the cosine wave here. Getting it? So the cosine wave maximum magnitude is omega c V maximum. In that cosine wave, from theta onwards it will start charging, and at omega t is equal to pi by 2, again you calculate the value of IC. IC will be equal to omega c V maximum into cos 90. So cos 90 means it is equal to 0. That means it is fully charged. So as it is fully charged, the energy stored in the capacitor will be half C into the voltage that is stored in the capacitor, it is charged up to V maximum. So this will be half C V maximum square at omega t is equal to pi by 2. So charging is clear to you. Now coming to the discharging. So during discharging, your supply is disconnected. Now your capacitor will start supplying your load. So let us assume it is that value is equal to I naught. Same current is supplied by the capacitor only. So from which duration to which duration it is discharging? It is discharging from pi by 2 to up to pi plus theta, and during this time the capacitor voltage changes from V maximum value to V2 value. Agree with me? So applying the KVL to this loop, I can tell 1 by C into integration of I dt plus R into I. This will be equal to 0. I am taking the output current I naught as I here for making the writing easy. So this I can write in the Laplace transform as 1 by C into I of S by S minus initial value of charge divided by S, because charge is equal to Q is equal to C into V. So initially the voltage is equal to V maximum, that's why it is C into V maximum. That is my initial condition, divided by S plus R into I of S is equal to 0. So from this I can separate out the I of S component, I of S into 1 by Cs plus R is equal to V maximum by S. So now I am separating R by F outside. So I of S into R by S into, so this R I have taken out, S also taken out. So this will be S plus, this will become 1 by RC is equal to V maximum by S. SS will cancel. So from this I can write my value of I of S is equal to V maximum by R into 1 by S plus 1 by RC. So if you apply the inverse Laplace transform, this will be equal to V maximum by R into e to the power of minus t by RC, where RC is called as the time constant of this discharging circuit. So this is V maximum by R into e to the power of minus t by tau. So now from this I can calculate my output voltage. So output voltage is nothing but R multiplied by the current. So this will be a resistance value R multiplied by I of t. So then this will be equal to V maximum into e to the power of minus t by RC. So the output voltage, how it will decay, that decay will be proportional to V maximum into e to the power of minus t by RC. And this peak value of the ripple, how much peak it will reach, will be the maximum value minus V2. So total variation that is coming in this diagram, we can go back this diagram once again. You can see the value of the output voltage, it is varying from V maximum to V2. So that is my value of the peak change, that is VRPP, peak change I have represented here. So now to go into the capacitor current also, you can see from this point to this point it is charging, and from this point to this point it is discharging. Again it is charging and again it is discharging, charging and discharging. So the current direction is reversing in the capacitor during discharge. So that's why I have represented here. I hope it is clear up to here. So let us proceed further. So now coming to the peak value of the ripple voltage, that is V maximum minus V2. So this V2 is nothing but the output voltage at t is equal to T2. At t is equal to T2. That T2, how I have taken the time, Again, let us go back to this one. So this is a T2, I am taking the reference from pi by 2 because from pi by 2 onwards it is discharging. So from pi by 2 in time T2 it will reach the value V2. So output voltage, you substitute the time is equal to T2, then you will get the value of the V2. So same thing I have represented here. This is nothing but V maximum into V maximum e to the power of minus T2 by RC. So we know that in mathematics e to the power of minus x can be represented as 1 minus x. So this e to the power of minus this one I am representing in the form 1 minus x form. So this will simplify to V maximum into T2 divided by RC. So that is my value of VRPP depends on V maximum into T2 divided by RC. So practically the value of T1 is far less than, very less when compared to the value of the T2 is very less. So we can take a T1 plus T2 which is nothing but equal to total time period divided by 2, because your output waveform is repeating 2 times in one cycle of your supply. So that's why it is equal to T by 2. So as a T1 is very less compared to T2, so I can neglect T1, I can take T2 is equal to T by 2, where T is equal to 1 by F, your supply frequency, or we can tell T2 is equal to 1 by 2F, or we can represent VRPP as V maximum by 2F RC. So from this I can calculate the peak value of the ripple voltage. I have told you that I can take the mean in the center. With respect to the mean, it is reaching up to plus some same value and minus same value. It is representing nearly equal to the triangular wave or the sawtooth wave, you can take it. So VRP will be equal to VRPP divided by 2. This is V maximum by 4F RC. Getting it? So now the calculating the ripple value of the voltage. Ripple value means out of the total voltage, if you are removing the DC component, how much voltage is remaining, so that is called as a ripple voltage. So it is nothing but the RMS value of the voltage. So RMS value of that ripple component is called as the ripple voltage. So I can approximately calculate this as for the trapezoidal that wave, this is equal to VRP divided by root 2. So this is nothing but VRP is V maximum by 4F RC. So I can approximately write this as, error will be there but little error. So this I can approximate as V maximum by root 2 into 4F RC. So from an average value of the output voltage V0 will be equal to V maximum minus VRP. I can represent in this form. So let us go back to this one. So average value of the output voltage I want. What will be the average value of the output voltage? It can be calculated in two ways. One way is what is the minimum value of the voltage, that is take V2, plus out of this I can take the average value, that means in the center. So you can take VRP, that means V2 plus VRP, that is one way of calculating. Another way of calculating is take V maximum minus VRP, because this average value of the ripple component will be this much. It will be in the center. So that you add to the average value or this minimum value V2, you can get it. Otherwise subtract V maximum minus VRP. Using that also I can get my average voltage. So the same thing I have done here. So the average output voltage is V maximum minus VRP. This is V maximum minus VRP is V maximum by 4F RC. So this if you simplify, it is V maximum into 1 minus 1 by 4F RC. So the minimum value of the load voltage, that V2 is equal to V maximum by VRPP, that is V maximum into 1 minus 2F RC. So for this one you can add VRP, in that way also you will get the same answer. You can add and check, you will get the same answer. Now coming to the ripple factor. So the ripple factor is equal to ripple voltage divided by average output voltage. So in this case the ripple voltage is V maximum by 4 root 2 into F into RC, that we have just calculated, divided by the average value. Average value of output voltage is Vm into 1 minus 1 by 4F RC, that also calculated. So when you substitute it, you will get as 1 by root 2 times of 4F RC minus 1. You can see here the value of the ripple factor is inversely proportional to the value of the capacitor. That means if you want to decrease the value of the ripple factor or remove the ripples from it, the value of the capacitor will increase proportionately. And one more thing, the ripple factor also depends on the frequency. It also depends on the frequency also. So now from this equation I can write the value of the capacitance C is equal to 1 by 4FR into 1 plus 1 by root 2 times of RF. 1 by 4 FR into 1 plus root 2 times of RF. So now in the numerical, if they ask that calculate the value of the capacitance to get a particular limit of ripple factor, so you can use this formula. So from this formula you can observe that as the capacitor is increased, ripple factor is decreased, but we have seen the value of IC, the charging current of the capacitor, is omega C V maximum cos omega t, because when the thyristor or the diodes are conducting, so along with the load current it should supply this charging current also. That means that diode should supply load current plus the charging current also. So if the value of the C is increased, automatically the value of IC is increased. That means the rating of the diodes will increase. When the rating of the diodes increases, the cost of the circuit increases. So that's why, because we have to decrease the cost also, at the same time decrease the ripple factor, so we have to do the compromise between these two things. That's why the value of the capacitor is decided in such a way, a compromise is done in both the ripple factor as well as the cost. So a compromise is done between these two things. So let us take one example to understand this concept clearly. A single phase bridge rectifier is fed from 230 volts 50 Hz supply and is connected to a load having resistance R is equal to 500 ohms. Design a capacitor filter to limit the ripple factor to 5% and improvement in the average output voltage due to filter is how much is the average value of the filter. So now I can calculate the value from here. C is equal to 1 by 4 FR into 1 plus 1 by root 2 times of RF. So I am substituting 1 by 4 into F is 50 and the value of load resistance is 500 multiplied by 1 by 1 divided by root 2 times of ripple factor. Ripple factor is given 5%. So in per unit it is 0.05. So if you substitute, you will get it as 151.42 microfarads is required. So the average output voltage without filter we know is equal to 2V maximum by pi. So this is a 2 root 2 into 230 by pi. It is 207.04. So now connecting this filter, what is the improvement? Because it suppresses the AC component in the output, so automatically average output will be improved. How much will be the average output voltage with this filter? That is equal to V maximum into 1 minus 1 by 4 FRC. So I am just substituted 4 into F is 50, R is equal to 500 and the capacitor we have calculated as 151.42 microfarads and V maximum is root 2 times of 230. So this has reached 303.79. So what is the improvement in the output voltage? The output voltage is improved from 207.04 volts to 303.79 volts. So there is an improvement of 96.75 volts. This much use value, and the ripple factor we are limited to 5%, and we have already seen while analyzing the Fourier analysis of the single phase full wave rectifier, we have seen the value of the ripple factor for that case will be 48.2%. From 48.2%, now the ripple factor is decreased. So because of the decrease in the ripple factor, automatically the average output voltage is improved. So this is the advantage of using the capacitor bank. I hope how the capacitor filter is designed is completely clear to you. So in the next class we are going to discuss about the inductor filter, and after that we will discuss about LC filter. Then we will wind up the complete filter circuits, thereby completing the converter topic completely. So I hope everything is clear up to now. If you still have any queries, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. I will answer to your queries from there. Thank you very much.